everyone, it's Audrey Moore here at Wonders of Wildlife National Museum and Aquarium. We're so excited to have you here as we start the newest mission for the month of November is Creepy Creatures. And we have, for the newest mission for the month of October, through Mission Conservation, Creepy Creatures. Throughout the month of October, you will get to meet multiple partners to learn all about some spooky animals. In order to play this really fun mission, all you have to do is creep on over to our mission conservation page at wondersofwildlife.org/mission-conservation. That will bring you to our mission conservation webpage. On this website, I will bring your attention down to get the app. Once you click download, that will take you to the Agents of Discovery webpage, and you will need this to play any mission conservation mission. Once you have that app downloaded, create a user account and log in. Hit the search bar and type in Mission Conservation. This is where all of our at-home missions will pop up for you to play. Once you have the mission popped up and loaded, hit play and get ready for your fun adventure. Make sure to check out our featured missions for the month of October, including our Smokey Bear 2.0, Creepy Creatures, and our newest Halloween mission. If you're looking for more haunting activities, we're going to direct you down to another part of our website where it says Schedule of Missions and Activities. This tab will show you all of the missions we have live, including our current mission. Under this tab, you will also find our activity guide that we have specifically made for you at home. There will be a craft, an awesome outdoor activity, and something that you can do to promote conservation. So I'm currently standing in our Southwest exhibit. This area is home to a number of species, including the diamondback rattlesnake, the Gila monster, and the mountain lion. It is also home to some of the animals that we will be talking about today. In Missouri, we only have one species of this animal, the striped scorpion, but in the Southwest region of the United States, there are more than 30 different species. To tell us more about these amazing creatures, we have Eric Proctor, a wildlife education coordinator with the Arizona Game and Fish Department. Eric, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great today, Audrey. I'm really excited to talk to our viewers today about scorpions because I think they're really kind of a cool little creature.
Awesome, awesome. So go ahead and tell us what you have for us.
Sounds good. So to get started, I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction and just tell you a little bit about the Arizona Game and Fish Department and who we are, because I'm sure there's some people that either have never been to Arizona or aren't super familiar with it. We are a state government agency that is responsible for conserving and protecting more than 800 species of wildlife that are found in the state. That always surprises a lot of people that we would actually have that many people in kind of what is known as a desert state, but we're pretty a diverse state. And we do all of that without collecting any general taxpayer dollars. So we're not your typical government agency in that way. For myself, I'm the wildlife education coordinator for the department. I've been in that position for more than 16 years now. In that role, I work primarily in the K-12 education environment. So I am working with teachers, helping them bring wildlife issues and concepts into the classroom. Before I begin, I would like to thank Jeff Myers and Cheyenne Dubiak, who run the department's wildlife viewing program, as well as Jenna Woods, an intern who is helping both of our programs. They were instrumental in putting this presentation together. A lot of what you see today comes from the work that they've put in developing this. Let's begin by taking a look at some of the characteristics that make scorpions the critters that they are. First, all scorpions are arthropods. Those are animals that have segmented bodies and jointed legs. This includes a lot of the creatures we consider bugs, like insects, spiders, and of course, scorpions. More specifically, they are arachnids, as are spiders. Like all arthropods, scorpions have an exoskeleton that is made of chitin. Chitin acts a lot like proteins. For example, keratin is the protein in the human body that helps to form hair and nails. However, instead of creating hair or nails, chitin generates a hard outer shell or armor in organisms for protection. Its main function in animals is primarily to hydrate and protect the soft tissue. Since they have an exoskeleton, all scorpions molt. Molting is when an animal sheds its hard, shell-like skin to make room for their new, larger body. The picture on the bottom that you'll see right there shows a somewhat larger scorpion next to its recently shed exoskeleton. Female scorpions give live birth to around 100 babies. They will stay on their mom's back for around 10 to 20 days while their exoskeleton hardens. The picture on the top shows some babies being carried by their mother. Scorpions have a number of appendages. Those appendages are things like the legs and arms and things like that. These include 4 pairs of walking legs. In front of those are a pair of pedipalps. Pedipalps are the modified legs that scorpion uses to grasp and hold prey. And of course, scorpions have their infamous stinger, which is located at the end of their tail at the back of their abdomen. That stinger is the tool they use to deliver venom into their prey. Let's look a little more closely at their anatomy. Like spiders, scorpions have 2 main body sections, the abdomen and the cephalothorax. The cephalothorax contains the head. This includes the chelicerae, which are small pincher-like appendages near the mouth that help the scorpion break down prey. They also have 2 different types of eyes located on their cephalothorax. The median eyes, which are located towards the back of their head, are primitive, simple eyes that help see basically differences in lighting and stuff like that. They don't get a lot of good vision out of that. And the lateral eyes, which are more towards the front of their head, they have multiple sections, kind of like when you think of like a fly's eyes and they have all those different lenses. That's really good at detecting movement. The pedipalps, which I mentioned earlier, those are kind of like those claws at the front. Those are they're modified legs that are just located just behind the mouth, and they're actually used to grasp and hold prey and other objects. The walking legs are attached to the abdomen. Like other arachnids, including spiders, they have 8 walking legs, so 4 pairs of 2. Along the side of the abdomen, you will find pectines. These are sensory appendages that help the scorpion feel the vibrations in the ground, allowing them to catch prey even in the dark of night. The telson is the last part of the tail. It carries the venom gland and the aculeus, which is the scientific name for the stinger. I've mentioned a couple times that scorpions and spiders are both arachnids. This means they are related and have some similar characteristics, but just how similar are they? This is a representation of a scorpion family tree. The closer the branches are to each other, the more closely related the animals are. You can see scorpions in the upper left-hand corner. You can see that they are closely related to harvestmen and some other scorpion-like creatures. Spiders, ticks, and mites can all be found on another branch. While not super close to scorpions, they do share a common ancestor believed to be the prehistoric trilobites that were alive around 521 million years ago. Scorpions themselves appear to have been on Earth for around the past 420 million years. In fact, scorpions were alive nearly 200 million years before dinosaurs first appeared. More time separates scorpions and the appearance of dinosaurs than the time that separates dinosaurs and the appearance of humans. Some of the earliest scorpions found during the Silurian period were up to 3 feet long. Can you imagine that, a scorpion 3 feet long? So how do we know what scorpions from 500 million years ago looked like? Well, the answer is pretty simple. It's fossils. More than 100 fossil species of scorpions have been found around the world. And all this time on Earth, that 400 million years, has allowed scorpions to develop a tremendous amount of diversity. Today, we find around 1,750 different scorpion species on the Earth. Pretty cool. Fortunately for most people, none get to that 3-foot size that we saw 400 million years ago. In fact, the world's largest, the emperor scorpion, native to the rainforests and savannas of West Africa, grows to a total length of 9 inches from tail to mouth. 9 inches. That's a far cry from 3 feet. Of course, if scorpions aren't your thing, 9 inches can still be quite large. Compare that to the smallest scorpion, which was only recently discovered in the Dominican Republic. It comes in at less than a 1/2 inch. So across the world, we have 1/2 inch scorpions all the way up to 9 inch scorpions. But what about a little bit more local? Right here in the United States, The largest scorpion that we have is the desert hairy scorpion, which comes in at right around half a foot, 5 to 6 inches. You can find these guys right here in my backyard in the deserts of Arizona and the Southwest. Most people associate scorpions with deserts, but the reality is they can be found anywhere on Earth except really the coldest parts. You're typically not going to find them in places like Antarctica, most of Russia, most of Canada. But for the most part, with the exception of those places, you can find a scorpion somewhere. In the US, they are most abundant in the southwestern states of Arizona, New Mexico, and the southern portions of California. Of the nearly 1,800 species found worldwide, only about 25 have a sting that is potentially lethal to humans. 25 of the nearly 800 species. As far as what we find in the US, Audrey had mentioned before that we have about 30 to 50 species right here in the Southwest, but there are about 100 different scorpion species found across the United States. As I pointed out earlier, scorpions have many eyes, 2 different types of eyes, multiple ones of each of those. However, they don't have very good eyesight. They aren't known for their sense of vision. They can't really make out details with their eyes. Their eyes are primarily used to differentiate between light and dark and movement. They rely more on small hairs and those sensitive pectines, which allow them to sense ground and air vibrations. The pectines also have special chemical receptors that allow the scorpion to visualize the size and shape of a potential predator or prey that's approaching it. Another somewhat surprising fact about scorpions that I think people don't really know is that they actually have a pretty good sense of smell. So they're not going to really be using their eyes to hunt, but their sense of smell and those other senses, their senses of touch, are going to be what are going to help them try to hunt for prey and to keep safe from potential predators. Perhaps one of the most unique traits of scorpions is that they fluoresce, or they glow in the dark. This is usually only seen at night when you shine them with a UV light, which we often call a black light. The scorpion's exoskeleton contains special chemicals which cause this fluorescence. Interestingly, scientists were really not entirely sure why they glow. It may have something to do with their ancestors that we've already talked about, however. When scorpions first appeared on Earth, more than 400 million years ago, oxygen levels were much, much lower than they are today. This allowed more intense UV radiation to hit the surface of the Earth. Scientists think that those chemicals that cause the scorpion to fluoresce may actually act as a sunscreen that protects them from harmful UV light. So sort of a protection. Who knows where, with this knowledge, what we might be able to do with this as well. While many people may not like scorpions, it is important to recognize that they are an important part of their ecosystem. Not surprisingly, they are a major predator, but they can serve as both predator and prey, and we're going to talk about that here in just a second. They can and will eat many kinds of insects, centipedes, spiders, cockroaches, other scorpions, and even small lizards or rodents, depending on their size. Basically anything that they can catch and subdue. Sometimes scorpions will kill and eat prey without having to use their venomous sting. Because it takes energy to make that venom, they're going to save it and use it only in situations where they absolutely really need it. On this next slide here, you can see the scorpions have been observed engaging in cannibalism. Here is a picture of a scorpion eating another scorpion. Often, the female will eat the male after mating. This is a common practice amongst arachnids and insects. Scientists believe this may actually be a form of population control. But scorpions aren't just predators. They can be prey, serving as an important food source for other animals in the ecosystem. They can fall prey to birds, tarantulas, centipedes, rodents, lizards, bats, and other mammals. Here's actually a picture of ants that have overtaken a scorpion and are going to feast on it. Meerkats are one of those predators. They are found in Africa and are close relative to the mongoose. When meerkats hunt scorpions, they will attempt to bite off the stinger first, then they will eat the rest of the body. Meerkats have been found to be immune to scorpion venom. Interestingly, they are also immune to some other kinds of snake venom. The grasshopper mouse may be one of my favorite animals. It's found in the United States. These guys are also known to hunt and kill scorpions, especially the bark scorpion, one of the potentially lethal species found in the United States. Pound for pound, the grasshopper mouse might be one of the most vicious predators alive. And it's just this tiny little mouse. It can often be seen beating and pounding its prey. Then it has been known to howl like a wolf when it's done. Interestingly, the howl occurs at a frequency that only some people can hear. Grasshopper mice are resistant to scorpion venom. This isn't quite the same as the immunity of the meerkats. They have a mutation in the nerve pathway that sends signals to their brain. So when they are stung, they don't actually feel the pain of the sting. How cool is that? Pallid bats, also common throughout parts of the US, including right here in Arizona, are one of the only 2 known species of bats that are immune to scorpion venom as well. Here you can see a pallid bat taking flight with a desert hairy scorpion as its prey. While I don't have enough time to cover all species of scorpions, there's almost 1,800 of them after all, I wanted to take a look at some of the more, shall we call, dynamic scorpion species that you can find around the world. First, the black forest scorpion. They live in the tropical forests of southeastern Asia. They are one of the most aggressive scorpion species out there. Unlike many other scorpions, they don't tolerate being handled. Their venom, however, isn't really that toxic. If you're stung, it's probably going to be comparable to like a hornet sting. The flat rock scorpion is found in southern Africa. It is considered to be perhaps one of the longest and heaviest scorpions in the world, stretching to more than 8 inches in length and pushing the scales at 32 grams. That's actually heavier than a standard AA battery. It gets its name from the fact that it will flatten its body in order to squeeze into tight spaces. It does this to escape the extreme heat of the environment that it lives in. The flat rock scorpion is actually a commonly sold pet on the exotic pet market. The burrowing scorpion is found near the last one in southern Africa. As its name implies, it is known to burrow near large rocks. Notice those exceptionally large pedipalps. If you recall, pedipalps are those claws, those modified legs near its mouth. They can actually use those to crush their prey. Once dead, they'll often consume the prey head first. I've already mentioned the desert hairy scorpion a few times. Found in both the Sonoran and the Mojave deserts in the southwestern United States, this is the largest scorpion found here in the US. They are easily identified from other scorpion species by their large size and their darker backs. You'll see a lot of the scorpions that are found in the Southwest, particularly in the deserts, take on sort of that more desert coloration. So they tend to be more of a tannish, a lighter brown color. So this one has that dark body that stands out. The hairs on their legs are also very distinct. All scorpions have those hairs, but on the desert hairy, hence its name, that those hairs just seem to stick out a little bit more. They stand out. They're very prominent, very obvious when you look at them. Their size does make them a popular pet. Plus, their venom is relatively weak, another reason why people might keep them as pets. If you are stung, however, it will swell and can be painful. Finally, the bark scorpion. This is the most common scorpion in my part of the world, Arizona. It is also the only species in the state that is considered life-threatening to humans. They are excellent climbers and can often be found on walls and ceilings, under rocks, and even under the bark of trees. Notice its coloration is much more lighter than the desert hairy that you saw before. And like I said, this is one of the few that will actually climb. So if you see it in your house on a wall or a ceiling, it's most likely going to be a bark scorpion. They are found throughout the Southwest, from Southern California to Western New Mexico, and down into Baja California, Sonora, and Chihuahua, Mexico. Growing to a length of just 2 to 3 inches, they are less than half the size of the desert hairy scorpions that we talked about before. It is no secret that humans have a questionable history with scorpions. These creatures often elicit fear and similar emotions in people. It could be their alien-like appearance or that distinct stinger and the venom. But the reality is that most scorpions are not aggressive. They only sting when they feel threatened or are being preyed upon. Most scorpion stings happen on accident. Someone gets stung on the foot because the scorpion was inside of a shoe, or they were walking barefoot and it stung their foot. Or they get stung on the hand while they're gathering laundry, or they're reaching for rocks in the garden, or whatever it might be like that. These are common, but not really examples of aggressive scorpion behavior. The animal is simply reacting to what it appears is a threat. This doesn't mean that we shouldn't be careful. Children, elderly, and people who are allergic to scorpion venom are at the highest risk, and for these people, a sting can be much more serious. So what can you do to minimize the risk of being stung by a scorpion? The first is protective clothing. If you are outside, wear shoes. If you are working in the yard, wear gloves. Obviously, check your gloves and check the shoes to make sure they don't have scorpions in them before you put them on. They are often drawn to that moist, dark environment. But prevention doesn't end there. Check your bed. Be careful when handling boxes, wood piles, or other items that a scorpion may be drawn to, especially if those have been sitting there undisturbed for a while. Keep palm trees trimmed, and don't leave a lot of standing water or leaks. Finally, treat your home for insects in a way that you are comfortable with, and make sure it is appropriately sealed. In general, if the scorpion can't find food, they're not going to stick around. So what happens if you are stung? Like many things, it is always important to remain calm. For many people, the reaction will be relatively mild, but it can be different for everyone. Most will feel a level of burning pain and may even have numbness or tingling. Clean the wound with soap and water and then apply ice. If you start developing an allergic reaction or experiencing more serious symptoms, like trouble swallowing, impaired vision, convulsions, or if you or the person who was stung goes unconscious, then you should seek medical attention immediately. Yes, scorpions look scary and they can be dangerous, but that doesn't mean we need to fear them. In fact, I would argue that we should learn to appreciate them, which is kind of why I'm giving this presentation. And if my presentation hasn't done enough to push you a little more towards appreciation, maybe this last bit will. You see, aside from being an important part of the ecosystem, scorpions have direct benefits to human health. Scorpion venom is currently being used in treating multiple sclerosis, arthritis, and other autoimmune diseases. Research is ongoing for several other possible uses, including its use as an anti-malarial drug. And it's also being used as a way to find tumors. This is really cool. There's this thing called tumor paint, and it's a special dye that is made from scorpion venom. And when that dye is injected into the body, it lights up cancer cells. This allows doctors to precisely target those tumors for surgical removal, potentially limiting the risk of damage to non-cancerous cells. This could even lead to an entirely new class of targeted therapeutics, which could help our cancer patients tremendously. So that's about all that I have for today. It was a very quick look at scorpions, and I hope you enjoyed it, maybe learned a little bit, and definitely gained a greater appreciation for scorpions. If you want to learn more about scorpions and other wildlife, I encourage you to check out the Arizona Game and Fish Department's website, which you can see right there, azgfd.gov. That's all that I have for you today. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric, for joining us with that awesome information. We do have a little bit of extra time, so I was just wondering, what is your favorite species of scorpion? It could be anywhere in the world or here in the US. What is your favorite?
So I'm probably still going to be partial to the ones found in Arizona. Part of me wants to say the bark scorpion because it's just so, I mean, it's the one that everybody's kind of surprised by and scared by. It's the one that's potentially lethal here in Arizona. But I think that's kind of the easy answer to some extent. I actually think that for me, it's going to be that desert hairy scorpion, just because their size. That size is so big, and when you see them, that they go across the length of your palm, and they've got that hair that just kind of sticks up. They look like they need a shave. I just think they're so cool.
That's really awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. So that is all the time that we have today. But before I leave you, we also will be attaching a YouTube video for a scorpion that they actually have at the Arizona Game and Fish Department. It was provided to us by Eric, so make sure that you check out that video. It'll be a YouTube link in the description. And like I said, that is all the time that we have for today. So thank you so much for joining us, Eric, and our viewers. And be sure to join us next week as we continue to talk about our mission for the month of October, creepy creatures, and we will be learning some more about bats. So we will see you next week.